Hey all, new day, new verse. As we continue on into Isaiah, today we're going to be picking up with chapter 46, verses 1 through 7. Father God, thank you for this day. Thank you for this time. Thank you that you give strength and are going to give strength. Oh, I trust you to do it, Lord. Lead the way. You got this. In Jesus' name, amen. So, digging on into chapter 46. Bel and Nebo, the gods of Babylon, bow and they are laid low to the ground. They are being hauled away on ox carts. The poor beasts stagger under the weight. Both the idols and their owners are bowed down. The gods cannot protect the people, and the people cannot protect the gods. They go off into captivity together. Listen to me, descendants of Jacob, all you who remain in Israel. I have cared for you since you were born. Yes, I carried you before you were born. I will be your God throughout your lifetime, until your hair is white with age. To whom will you compare me? Who is my equal? Some people pour out their silver and gold and hire a craftsman to make a god for them. Or to make a god from it. Then they bow down and worship it. They carry it around on their shoulders, and when they set it down, it stays there. It can't even move. And when someone prays to it, there is no answer. It cannot rescue anyone from trouble. And I wanted to take a pause here. Pardon the whole whoops with the reading there. My head and I are not having the best of agreements at the moment because of my neck. But neither here nor there. What I want to dig into today is, one, the coupletic form. Because you have the whole 1, 2, and 5, 6, 7 that have this pair of ideas. You know, this is, again, Babylon is in the future, right? Assyria has sacked northern Israel, Babylon's along in the future, and this is stating, no, even those things will be taken care of. This vicious, silly, repetitious cycle of nation kills nation, flag beats down flag, and everybody's not a new occurrence in any stretch of the imagination at all. And it's interesting to me that you get this place of showing the idea of the shame there. The fact that, oh yeah, the thing you said was, we'll have this and never be defeated. The rage of Rome will last forever. And the British Empire came and went after it too, so how will that go? Those empires don't last forever. This world we have around us doesn't last forever. Mountains don't last forever. And you start thinking in geological time instead of human time, and we're not even blips. Which kind of makes the fact that God pays attention to any of us at all the more amazing. Because depending on the way you want to take it, I personally find it quite interesting that, geologically speaking, you put Earth's time clock on a Gregorian calendar, we don't show up until 11:59, between 59 and 58 seconds on midnight of December 31st. The rest of it came before. Came and gone and came and went and came and went and came and went. Empires rise and fall, nations fighting nations, earthquakes, plagues, famine, death. Another vicious day in human history. Now, if only we could do better. And that's why I love the middle couplet here. Because it is a reminder, not just to descendants of Jacob, the people who are literally by blood related to this family, as a reminder to be the kingdom of priests they were always supposed to be. It's also a reminder to us now. Well, for us, rather. It's to them, it's for us. Wrong word on my part. So it's to them, to the descendants of Jacob, to remember, to listen, to heed, to actually say, oh no, hey, be who you're meant to be. Not this one more playing the game of go along to get along, murder each other to be king of the hill, but rather being a kingdom of priests. A kingdom of people who said, no, let's make peace. Not compromise, peace. Not war. Instead of aiming for conquest, let us realize that none of us own the land. None of us. Because you can rack it all up and own as many deeds as you want. On paper, it can all look like yours. You will drop dead. 120 years-ish. And then you are worm food. Me too. Sorry to harsh the buzz on that one. Perspective here. Unless you are set aside to live forever, by actually realizing that the only way we can live is through surrender. You can't focus in building up exile kingdoms and not expect it to not go well. Because these words are for us and to the people of Israel. Not just the land of Israel, because remember, northern Israel and southern to Judah were two separate kingdoms. So these are words to all 12 tribes. These are words to all those who wrestle with God and remain. Not walking off, not giving up, not going out when the going gets tough, but sticking with it, running to the end of the race, as Paul puts it in 2 Corinthians. That he has carried us since we were born, or cared for us since we were born, that he's carried us since before we were born, that he knows the number of hairs on our head, that he knows the number of days that we have, that he knows the number of breaths we will be given, because he's the one who gives them all. And rather than rejoicing in celebration, often we get down in negativity and bog down in the silly things that cut each other apart. And it's sad to me that despite the fact that he says it himself, he made us, he will care for us, he will carry us along the way and save us, that we use humans' institutions to do what only God can do. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's bad when humans do it, quite the opposite. It's the institutions that bother me. Because after a while, an institution exists to promote itself, and our focus needs to be people. The idols we make will always lead to shame. Speaking from personal experience. When getting into it with God and saying, okay, show me how to actually live, give me the perspective of knowing that I'm worth it and so are they. That both are true. Because all too often, I mean, just from my personal experience, again, here speaking, I have seen and lived both the side of everything is important and nothing is important. And I've seen the be a doormat, and I've seen walk all over everybody. And the two sides of the pendulum are actually quite daunting. And going through them even more so. It really is God's grace keeping me standing. There's a both and, though. Because the carpet mentality is usually born of other people are more important. The walk all over is born from the mentality of I am more important. The sides of the pendulum are born out of a mindset first. That's why acknowledging the pendulum has to be different than talking to the person who's stuck in the middle of the swing. Because I found that you have to hold both everything being important, even down to the life of a fruit fly, all 24 hours of them, and that absolutely nothing is important. That because it is all temporary and fleeting, it need not be held on to. And that both are held in tension together. Because if both everything and nothing are important, then you can let go of what needs to be let go of at any time it needs to be let go of, and hold tightly that which needs to be held tightly to. To borrow an idea, it's holding tightly with an open hand. These words are an idea to shift our perspective. That these are written to people in exile. All of us are. Not just the Israel of its time and place that were about to be sent into exile because of the promises kept at the end of Deuteronomy, like we discussed, and the fulfillment of the agreement. Rather, that, because yeah, it is. And that is important, so rather is the wrong word there. Like, not only is this that perspective there, it's also a reminder to us that we're all in exile. That, well, this microcosm of Israel, Judah, northern Israel, Assyria, Babylon, that entire series of events that you can chalk on the calendar, mirroring the truth at the very beginning of the text. We're not in the garden anymore. We're not even in Eden. Or we're not in Eden, we're not even in the garden. We are completely out of it. The only way we're going back is Same way we got there in the first place, being brought in. The shepherd leading the sheep. And I find it sad that despite the fact that we are Homo sapien, we've allowed the things that we look like, live like, act like, we allow things that we cannot define to define us. I don't choose any of the attributes I have when I am born. They are given to me. And yet these same attributes are the very things we've been using to divide, to cut each other down. So in the spirit of tongue-in-cheek and looking at the world redefining things, if we're going to decide that humans differ based on XYZ, instead of calling ourselves Homo sapien, since we don't seem to want to be that, humans who are humane, why don't we start referring to our species as Homo exilis? Because we are a species in exile. We are in exile in a land where dog eats dog, and climbing to the top of the ladder using human beings as one rung at a time is acceptable. And it's not. It never has been. And the reason we have so many problems that we have now is because of the mental gymnastics we do to justify the things we know are wrong. I know because I used to be a contortion artist with it. Like, fit in a handbag kind of contortion artists. And I used to be in the 6'3" range, right between 6'3" and 6'4". 6'4" if I was, anyway. Not important. More the idea that the contortioning is, because it's something we all have a tendency to do. As long as we can distort it to make it work the way we want it to, we usually do. And that's the core of the problem. What needs to be fixed is us, in here. The heart that says, no, it's okay to dismiss them. The eye that says, oh, I'm good to reduce them. The tongue that says, I'm happy to give them a lash. And the ears that have no intention of hearing the other person at all. And so we end up in a world of the deaf, dumb, and blind, stumbling around, clawing at the walls, desperate to find a way out, when the light's already been shown. We're in exile, folks. This world that we have been given, it is a beautiful place to play, and I call it a garden for a reason, to shift the perspective. That we get to cultivate this place, and though it is temporary, the focus should actually be, well, exactly what the path of the exile is in Jeremiah and Ezekiel. Work to the benefit of the Babylon you're in, that all might know that Yahweh is God. So we don't live for this kingdom, and we don't worry about this world. We live through generosity, we live by grace, we live through and from love. And to do anything less makes me wonder if we will change or remain the same. This isn't slipping. This is an honest question looking at the body, myself included, all of us. Because we're supposed to be the people who understand love most. 1 John, right? Based on the way we treat not only the world, but the people around us, we seem to know it the least. So is it any wonder that non-believers are as hurt as they are based on the wounds that we've caused? The only way we can truly do this, the only way we can truly live, is to let him lead. And to continue to be the people of Israel. People who wrestle with God and refuse to let go until we see the blessing. That's what defines us. Not blood begotten, not sex begotten. Spirit born. One people. One body. One head. Christ, our King. May his favor be upon you. Know that you're loved. I'll see you there.